My name is Kim Breidenbach, and I'm a physician at the Whitehall Family Medicine Clinic. Recently in Whitehall, we noticed that we were not consistently screening our patients for depression. We've been working on improving screening for depression and anxiety by ensuring that rooming staff help patients complete the PHQ-4 and, if indicated, the PHQ-9 for depression and the GAD-7 for anxiety. We've determined that the adequate screening means PHQ-9 is completed at every visit, and a PHQ-9 or GAD-7 is completed if the PHQ-4 is positive, when the chief complaint of the visit is mood-related, or if depression is on the problem list and the PHQ-9 has not been completed in the past 10 months. We're doing this because 1 in 10 adults suffers from a mood disorder. Depression and anxiety are treatable conditions when adequately treated, and these patients can overwhelmingly lead healthy, normal, and productive lives. But if left untreated, depression and anxiety can affect functioning at home and work and quality of life, and can contribute to long-lasting physical health problems and chronic diseases. If untreated long enough, suicide can be a real consequence. Indeed, suicide, which is often associated with untreated mental illness, is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. and the 2nd leading cause of death among people aged 15 to 34. Primary care clinicians are often the first ones to see, diagnose, and treat mood disorders, which is why we feel that improving screening is so important. To successfully improve our screening, we had to target the beliefs and hesitancies of our rooming staff because they are responsible for conducting the initial screening during the rooming process. We needed their buy-in to improve. Some staff were weary that patients might be irritated by being asked the PHQ-4 questions at each visit. They feared the patients would say, "That's not why I'm here," or "This is none of your business." Among the providers and rooming staff, there were also concerns about time constraints. We feared that unexpected positive PHQ-4 results would throw off the schedule and would not fit into our busy clinic day. Ultimately, providers and staff agreed that screening for these issues was important enough that we would try it and see if our fears were realized. We can all think of friends, family members, or patients who are impacted by a mood disorder. We know it's the right thing to do for our patients, though some were still reluctant. My colleague, Dr. Megan McClung, led this effort, and I will turn it over to her to share the story of how it went.
Occasionally, we did get patients who questioned us. "Why are you asking me about this? I'm just here for my urinary tract infection," or "I'm just here for my hypertension follow-up." We simply explained that we try to care for the entire patient, and to that end, we screen for depression and anxiety. Patients not only accepted this explanation without any further concern, they often commented that depression and mental health is an important issue, and it makes sense for us to ask about it. Once in a while, we would have a patient who declined to answer the questionnaire, which, of course, we respected. Sometimes the screening tools would come back positive. Surprisingly, this didn't put us too far behind very often. Occasionally it did. 2 particular patients come to mind. One patient was a young mother here for an acute visit with her baby in tow. After addressing her acute need, I brought up her positive PHQ-4 and her positive PHQ-9. She admitted that she often felt that she would be better off dead and had some suicidal ideation. After evaluating her risk, we determined she was safe to go home on a new prescription for her depression, and we scheduled an appointment for close follow-up. She ended the appointment by telling me that she was grateful that someone cared enough to ask how she was really doing, and she felt relieved that she was finally getting help. After finishing up that visit, I scurried off to see my next patient, who was here for a prenatal visit. Her PHQ-4 was also positive, and she too had suicidal ideation. Again, we determined she was safe to go home with a new prescription for her depression and scheduled an appointment for close follow-up. She also expressed gratitude. "Thanks for asking. I just don't want to feel this way when my baby comes." It was a long afternoon. 2 patients quietly struggling with depression and thoughts of suicide. I stayed late in the clinic, and so consequently, so did our staff. Both our patients were grateful, and they are success stories, both continuing to improve. And our whole team realized the importance of screening for depression and other mood disorders at every visit. We talked about not only the impact we had on those patients, but also on their children and families. After living these real-life examples, enthusiasm for screening quickly spread throughout our clinic. It's a powerful way to improve our patients' lives.